Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am here to do how my parents reacted to being 15 and pregnant video. I did one in the past, I will link it in the description, but I kind of was rushed through the video. I said how I found out and how I reacted, and I added how my family reacted. It was just a lot of commotion in one video. I was talking fast. It just wasn't very good, so I'm going to tell you guys more in-depth version of it. So anyways, if you guys don't know, I was 15 and pregnant. I delivered when I was 16, and I am 17 now, and my daughter's about to turn a 1-year-old. So, let's get into the video. So basically, 14 days after I found out I was pregnant, and then I told my sister that day. So basically, when I found out, I'm not going to say how I found out because I can just make that a whole nother video. It's kind of like long and explain my thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. But, so then, okay, so I called my sister and I was like, hey, what are you doing? She said nothing, I'm just on my way home. And I said, okay, cool, I have something to tell you when you get home. And she was like, oh, okay, like, she thought nothing of it. She just wasn't like, she wasn't nervous or anything. So this is how I told her. I hid the test in, I think in the coffee table or something, and then I told her to sit down. She's like, okay, like that's when she started to get nervous. And then I told her to put out her hands, and she said okay. So I laid the test in her hands, and this is my older sister. She was 20 at the time, now she's 21. So I told her, and she, like, I told her to open her eyes, and she looked, and she saw the 2 lines, and then looked, and it said pregnant. And she was like, wait, what? And automatically looked at my stomach. And I was just laying there, and I was like, yeah. And I was kind of like happy, but I was really shy, and I was like starting to like get embarrassed. But not in like a bad way, just like my face was starting to get red, and I was like, wow, this is kind of real. Like I'm telling someone, stuff like that. Because I already told my friend at the time, and stuff like that. But moving on. So I told her, and she's like, is this for real? Like, have you told anyone else? Like, so what's our plan? And I was like, no, I haven't told anyone. Like, we're gonna need to tell mom and dad and like Courtney, and the sister I told was Megan, and tell dad. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I have no idea what to do. And I was like, yeah, me either. So then we actually kept it a secret for one day. So then I went to my friends that night, and I was like hanging out with them. And then I came home because we just like, my sister had to go out, and it wasn't gonna work out to tell her that night. So then we waited the next day. My sister came home, and I said, sit down, close your eyes. So I did the same thing. I put the test in her hands, and she opened it, and she like, kind of like flipped out. She's like, how are you going to pay for this? Like, well, how the heck did this happen? Like, all that kind of stuff. And she was just like really mad at me. And I wasn't really emotional. I was kind of just like laughing it off, like hoping that she wasn't serious. So then she's like, okay, well, we got to tell mom, because like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, we need to make a doctor's appointment. She's like, okay, well, let's tell mom, and then she'll know what to do. So we were going out to bowl with my mom and her boyfriend's family. So then the whole way there, like, my sister was getting mad at me, and I was like telling her basically to shut up because it was starting to really bother me. My other sister was sticking up for me, like the sister I told very first. And so anyways, we got to the bowling arena. I acted completely cool, calm, collective. And then what happened was my sister was like, okay, well, I'll tell mom. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I didn't want to tell her because my parents both thought I was a virgin at the time. Like, they literally thought I'd never had sex before. So added to that, just being like, oh, holy crap, she's had sex. Holy crap, she's pregnant. Oh my god. Like, that's a lot to deal with at once, which is completely understandable. So my sister told my mom, was like, so you think that, like, Abigail has been a virgin? Well, she hasn't, and now something has happened. And by then, like, my mom and my sister were both looking at me, and I was just like putting on my bowling shoes. Really, I wasn't. I was just kind of like sitting there awkwardly. So then they both look at me, and I thought like that was my cue to like go walk on over. So me and my sister Megan, we walk on over, and my mom's like, you're not. And I was like, I just like stood there like that. I was like, I just didn't know what to say. She's like, are you? And I was like, she's like, are you? And I'm like, yeah. And like she said it very like softly, like my mom wasn't mad. Partly because my sister said, I know you might want to react rude, like you might want to act bad, but now it's not the time to react like that. So please just be like generous with your feelings. So I think that's like also helped. So my mom, I didn't even have to vocalize what I was, like that I was pregnant. So then my mom just hugged me and I was crying because I just like felt like I kind of disappointed her. But at the same time I was like happy, but at the same time I was like, holy shit. So I was happy that I could even conceive a baby, like that I was pregnant, that I was like so many people in the world trying to have a baby, that like the fact that I could have a baby was just so like happy of a great feeling to me, because I literally never thought that I wanted to be a mom so bad that I never thought I'd be able to have a baby. So the fact that I was pregnant made me happy. Moving on. So she hugged me and I hugged her, and she's like, we cleaned up her tears because we were just like in the back room basically, and everyone was at the front bowling and they had no idea what was happening. So mom's like, okay, we'll deal with this. Don't worry, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna deal with this. And I said, okay. So we cleaned up our tears and we walked out and bowled, and mom's like, who all knows? So I told her. And she's like, okay. And then we didn't tell my dad yet. We waited. So my mom, the next day, actually no, she went home and she texted me, and she was sobbing in the car, and she like texted me that she was crying and how disappointed she was. The next day she got really like bent into shape over it. Like she texted me being like, I don't want you to be like all those other teen moms, like I don't want you to just not care about yourself, like I don't want you to be like falling off the bandwagon, I hope you like you don't live off the government, like I don't want you to fail in school, like stuff like that, just like general, like I feel like any mother would say if like you were in that situation. So I lived with my mom at the time too, so like it was easy to not tell my dad. So then we made a doctor's appointment for like a week later, and that's the night that we told my dad. So my mom just told my dad, because we don't really lie to him, we told my dad that I was going to the doctor's because I was sick or something like that, whatever. So then we went to the doctor's and they made me pee in a cup, and then they're like, literally the test like came out positive in like 3.2 seconds. So the doctor came back in and she was like, so it was positive. Mom's whole like mindset of like this isn't happening just like stopped, and she was just like dropped, and she was like like literally that was her reaction. She was like deep breath. So my sister asked the doctor, can she even survive this pregnancy because I am so young? My doctor said yeah, of course she'd be fine. And then my other sisters just kind of sat there and we all just like took it all in. I was already like, I took it in for like 2 weeks of waiting so I could even take the test. So I was like kind of happy that like it was confirmed, like this was really happening to me. So then the doctor was like, hey, can I talk to you alone? And I said yeah. So she asked me like a few personal questions. They also asked me like when my last period was, so they could like see how far along I was. And they also asked me a few other questions, just like simple general questions, especially if you're a teen. So then that night my mom came to my dad's house and my sister's. My mom was like, so we knew this was going to happen to one of the girls eventually, we just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. And my dad's like, okay, what? So then my mom's like, Abby's pregnant. And my dad just like was silent. He never is like silent. He always has something to say. So he's just like sat there silently, and he's like, okay, we'll deal with this. And I felt very, very awkward. I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oh my god, this is so awkward. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, I was just so awkward and like immature, and I was just like, this is so awkward. Oh my god, I can't believe this happened. So then I went back to my mom's that night, and my dad texted me saying, I love you, like we're gonna get through this together, don't worry, like we'll do this together, like everything's gonna be okay. So like at that point I was like, okay, life is good right now, like my mom's not mad at me, like no one's mad at me anymore. And then for the next 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, it was absolute hell. Like my whole family was yelling at me for it. They were very disappointed. They were telling me, everyone but my one sister told me to have an abortion. Everyone. And I cried over it many times. I got into fights with them, and I was like, no, 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 never happening. Nope, never, no, I don't want one, not happening. I set my foot down on that. But yeah, it was just like very difficult, And then my dad actually called my friend's mom. Like, she was like my best friend at the time. We still are friends, but like we just don't talk as much. And called my best friend's mom and was like telling her, because she was in the same situation, but she had a baby at 18 and not like 15, 16. So then I went over to my friend's house just to like tell her mom, because I thought like out of respect it'd be like a good idea. And she already knew, but I had no idea that she knew. And that was when I got really mad at my dad, because that's not his information to share. But then I went to our house and I was like, so I have something to tell you. And she's like, you're not pregnant, are you? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, it's gonna be really hard, like no one's gonna, like, no guy's gonna want to stay with you, like there's so many options, like basically telling me to like have an abortion or adopt. And I was like, well, what if I can't get pregnant again in the future? Like, what if it's my only chance? Like, I know it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be okay. Like, I was just like, didn't really listen to her, because I was just like, this is so like offensive and like rude to me. But everyone told me to keep my options open, and I just like didn't, because I knew what I wanted, and that was that. My dad wanted me to go see this therapist that like talks about like all this stuff, and I was like, hell no. But yeah, after like 4 to 6 weeks, like literally had my ultrasound at 5 weeks and 4 days, and after that day, like after everyone saw like Leslie moving, like that she was real in my belly, everyone just like immediately was just so like nice and loving, and just like wanted to be supportive and buy stuff, and just like everyone was just so much like different personalities. I think because like that's when it hit them that like this was like a real human being, like we saw the heartbeat flicker. So then honestly, overall it was a good / bad experience and very shocking to everyone, but I think that my parents handled it very well compared to other people's stories that I've heard. But yeah, so that's how my parents reacted to this pregnancy, to my 15 pregnant experience. So I love you all so much. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely, if you guys have any similar stories, leave them down below. I would love to hear them. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video.